Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Okay, it is Monday, and all of our guests today, including Jamie McLennan, standing by, Noodles, sponsored by Basant Motors. Basant has taken Santa's job, and they're bringing the gifts. Get rates from 4.99%, Rick, gifts with vehicle purchases, and much more. Learn more at Basant Motors, BASANT Motors.com. They got Jonathan Lekaramaki, among other Canuck members of the organization involved now.
Yep.
Jamie really cares about that. Sure, he's got a car deal there at TSN. Noodles, TSN, Jamie McLennan, how are you, sir?
Not too bad. And no, I do not have a car deal. So
Whoa!
Calling Basant Motors. So.
Okay. Well, we have something in common then. Jamie, Canucks lose 4-2 to the Lightning. Some fabulous saves by Andrei Vasilevsky. Where's his game at? And we all know what he's accomplished, but where's his game at age 30, Jamie?
I think it's right in point. Like, keep in mind, goaltenders get better with age. They're like a fine wine. It wasn't that long ago when Marc-Andre Fleury was winning the Vezina, I think at 35, 36. Pekka Rinne won it at 35, 36. So, you see Connor Hellebuck has evolved and gotten better with age. So a lot of it is the mental maturity of handling the physical rigors of it daily, but handling it between the ears. And if you look at Tampa, there was a time there where they went to the finals, it felt like every year, and it almost they had fatigue. Well, the last couple of years, they haven't gone deep into the playoffs. And Vasilevsky was injured coming into the season last year, and then had a long offseason to get his body organized. And apparently he's like a gym rat. So he's in unbelievable shape, knows what his body takes. I'm not going to, but coming into the season, I thought Tampa, I wouldn't say surprise people, but I had Tampa coming out of the East, because if you look at the spine of their team, they're not 36 and 37 years old. You just mentioned Vasilevsky turning 30. Kucherov is 30. Braden Point is under 30. Cirelli, Hagel. Yes, Hedman is 34, but Hedman's a superstar and he seems to be ageless. But if you look at the spine of their team, there's lots of hockey left. And then they go and move past Stamkos, and you add in Gensel, who's a younger kind of Steven Stamkos type of player. So I think Tampa's a really, really good team, and I think people have slept on them because everybody's focused on, Florida, rightfully so. Florida won the Cup, but the Leafs and Boston and the New York Rangers, and I think Tampa just kind of has been pushed to the side, but they're a really, really good team.
So let me get this straight, Jamie. You're saying that you had Tampa coming out of the East to represent the East in the Stanley Cup Final.
I did, and I had Winnipeg coming out of the West.
Wow.
And I'm probably, don't ever take my advice on when it comes to predicting stuff. I feel like I gave both of those organizations the kiss of death, because I feel like when you choose somebody, you get skin in the game. And as an analyst, you're supposed to be kind of non-biased. But I looked when in the offseason, I look at everybody's roster. And I looked at Winnipeg's, and I looked at the way that the Florida Panthers built their team and won a Stanley Cup last year. Yes, they're superstar players, but if you laid them on top, Bobrovsky is a Vezina winning goaltender. Well, Winnipeg has that. Who's, I guess, Morrissey could be, Ekblad, or could be Forsling or somebody like that. They looked very similar up front. Scheifele could be Barkov. Connor could be Reinhart. And the depth that they had. So again, just how they're built. That's kind of when I had people saying you need to choose a winner. You need to choose for who's coming from the East and who's coming from the West. Both of those teams on paper looked really formidable to me. And they both have had, Winnipeg was gangbusters and they hit the ditch lately. And Tampa, I think, is a really good team. You guys saw it yesterday.
Oh, no, I thought they were very, very impressive. That's a gutsy pick. If that comes true, man, you're going to get it. You're going to get a car deal.
I want a car deal if that comes true.
If that happens. Hey, Jamie, Canucks have won just 4 of 13 home games. It's been tough for them at Rogers Arena. This might be a little bit of a difficult question, but is there a common denominator when a talented team struggles at home, or is it just one of those things you can't explain?
I would love to say I've got this magic formula. I mean, there isn't. I've been on a Canadian team where we've struggled at home. You feel the fans wanting you to win, willing you to win. You put a lot of pressure on yourself. There are, I would say this, and this is in every market, but it's maybe another layer in a Canadian market. There's lots of distractions at home. You know, you've got your family, if you have a spouse, if you've got kids, if you've got family members coming in. A lot of times the biggest challenge is just getting to the game, because once you get into the game and to drop the puck, everything is forgotten. But a lot of times getting to that game, there's just so much that noise that comes with it. I'm not making an excuse for anybody who struggles on home ice. It's just kind of a fact. If you look at it, even if a team's coming off of a long road trip and they get home, usually that first game is a dud, right? And it's because they're piling everything. Hey, I've got stuff, I've got bills to pay, I haven't seen my wife or girlfriend in a while, kids, all of that. Like, it's almost that collective sigh. So I don't have a formula, but I can understand why teams do struggle sometimes at home in certain pockets. Now, that being said, they should know the building, you get the last change, and you should get juice from your home crowd. So there should be, conversely, I'm arguing against myself, but I could see if you do struggle at home, there's certain times where there's just too much going on.
Jamie, Thatcher Demko has backed up the last 2 games to Lankinen. There was, some scuttlebutt he might play against Tampa Bay. What's he waiting for? Like, if you're good enough to back up, are you good enough to play anytime?
Yes. I don't know. I was hoping, listen, you guys are asking me questions. I was going to ask you questions going, what the hell is going on here? Because there's a saying that if you're healthy enough to wear a jersey, that means you're available to play that night.
Right.
He's not Jamie McLennan. He's Thatcher Demko. He's not a backup. Like, he needs to, I don't know. I mean, I know Lankinen's played very well. I thought the Columbus start would have been a perfect start for him in a back-to-back situation, home ice, in front of your home crowd. Like, that might have given the team a little bit of juice. But I understood, like, the Tampa one. Tampa's a pretty darn strong team. So I don't know if that's your first game you want back. But to me, it seemed like on a tee to start him against Columbus. And I know people sleep on Columbus, and that's what happens. They go in and beat you. But it just seemed like a Saturday, start. And to me, was it Friday or Saturday? Sorry.
Friday.
Friday start. And, the crowd would be fired up. Taylor Swift's next door. Like, all hell's breaking loose in that city. So I don't know. I don't know what they're waiting for. Obviously, I'm not privy to it. But it just, something's not right. I don't know if he's not feeling 100% mentally, because I know he has to be 100% physically for them to put him in a jersey. So I'm hoping that he gets the next start.
All right, Jamie, the Canadian goaltenders at the Four Nations. We got one here tomorrow night, Jordan Binnington with the Blues. What are your comments on the 3 goalies that Canada picked? And what do you think they're going to do in the tournament?
Well, I can make an argument for the reasoning why they went down that way. Jordan Binnington has won a Game 7 on the road for a Stanley Cup. So he's played in the biggest pressure situations and had success. Aiden Hill, despite a slow start, and if you look at his numbers, they're probably not the most glowing. But if you look at win-losses, all this guy knows how to do is win games. And that's a big thing. And he has won under duress. I know he wasn't the starter going into the playoffs for Vegas, but he ended up being that when they won the Stanley Cup. And Samuel Montembeault is interesting for me. So Hockey Canada got a good look at him at the World Championships, and he was fantastic for them. So I think they might be looking forward and saying, okay, if this guy breaks through, now keep in mind he plays on a rebuilding team or a team that's on a retool, so his numbers might not be glowing, but he's a fantastic goaltender. And I think they're saying, if this is a guy that can grow with us, we see him as part of the package moving forward. I was on the banging the drum of Marc-Andre Fleury, because I was like, this guy is 40. He's done everything. Everyone loves him. He's great in the room. And if you're the third goaltender, chances are you're not dressing or you're wearing a ball cap. So Fleury would be a great mentor for some of these younger guys. But I can clearly see the pathway they chose and why they went down that road. And not only an investment for this Four Nations, but also an investment for the Olympics next year.
And Jamie, 30 seconds are left, if you don't mind. Igor Shesterkin, is he worth $11.5 million a year? We also understand he's got a car deal.
He should have a car deal, and I'll be short on this. Yes, he is. Because if you take a look at guys around the league that are making $11.5 million, he's a superstar. And Shesterkin is the face. The way that they play in New York, they rely on their goaltender a lot. He is the face of that team. And I get frustrated when it's like, you pay the goalie $6 or $7 million, but here's the guy who scored 35 goals, and we'll give him 11, and we'll give that guy 10.5. And I'm a goalie hugger, so I'll preface it with that. But I do believe he has set the bar, and there's only a few goalies that should be in that stratosphere. Shesterkin's one of them.
Passant Motors just called Jamie. They heard this hit. They want to talk to you. Okay. Get ready for the call. Thanks for this.
I love it. Thanks for having me, guys.
You bet.